Things have gotten a bit out of hand in my apartment. I've been in sort of a decluttering mode for the past few weeks. I recently got rid of like most of my clothes from my closet, and today I'm going to tackle my kitchen. I haven't done this in 2 years since moving into this apartment. It's a pretty daunting task. As I go through the process of cleaning everything, I'll also be sharing a few of the tips that I've kind of figured out for myself on just how to reduce that overwhelming feeling when you're, tackling such a big task. Anyway, welcome to my kitchen. It's a bit of a mess right now. We are getting so real with it today. I just went on a trip with my boyfriend for the past 2 weeks. The past few days, we've just been kind of settling in. We do a lot of cooking here. Like, we use this kitchen. It was very nicely organized for a while. I am going to show you everything that I really need to tackle today. This is from the work I did yesterday. I pretty much just went into all of our cupboards and took out the containers. If it was like an ingredient that I know I'm never going to use again and like low-key don't trust because it's so old, then I would just kind of get rid of it. So now we have a lot of empty jars and containers. This kitchen cart is the next thing. This is how I was using all of the jars. So like pretty much for a lot of the ingredients that we do use the most, I was keeping them in my cupboard, so it was always really annoying to access them. For example, like cocoa powder. For some reason, it was like so high up that I couldn't reach it without a step stool, and like I'm pretty much the only one in here that uses cocoa powder. So I was like, why is this happening? The whole top section is pretty much just baking ingredients. I like to bake a lot. And then down here, this will be a lot of the most used cooking ingredients. And then also things that I just use for like breakfast stuff. I'm going to make like a fresh batch of granola today. So that all is gonna go down here. I've got this adorable little picnic basket that I thrifted. It's so freaking cute, man. I was thinking that maybe I could use this basket for just keeping snacks in and then just keep it down here. And over here we've got our cupboard. You can see that like I am short and literally everything is so tall. Anytime I want to get anything ever, I have to use this freaking step stool. This is after I took out quite a lot of ingredients to arrange over there. A lot of our ingredients are over there right now. I'm going to figure out how to arrange it in a way that makes sense, where again our most used stuff will be down here, and I'm also gonna have to deep clean this cupboard. And like, look, this isn't even all of it. Like, so much vertical space, and I just simply can't reach it. But anyway, there's like these liners in the cabinets. Let me see if I can just, oh my god, that looks disgusting. I'm so sorry. I am planning to take those old liners out and actually clean the cupboards properly and then put new liners in. I'm scared of actually doing it, but I'm excited for the outcome. Up here we have our other cabinet. Oh, don't mind me. Do you see the struggle? This is killing me. So a lot of these ingredients up here, I actually do use a lot, which is crazy because like it's at the very top, but they're up there because a lot of the areas of the other cabinet are not tall enough for these bottles. And another thing I've been wanting to get to is it's been in a chaotic state since we came back because my boyfriend's parents are moving out of the country. So they had a lot of produce to get rid of in their house and a lot of ingredients to give to us. I'm just going to try to take everything out of their bags and arrange them nicely. So that's everything we're doing today in the kitchen. Originally this was gonna be a whole apartment clean and declutter video, but I think that is going to be so long, and I think I'm gonna get overwhelmed if I do anything more than the kitchen today. So we're gonna start with just this room and all those little tasks. I do like to organize things a lot. I often get myself into quite overwhelming situations. Like I'll take everything out, like literally everything, and put it all into a huge pile and then organize it from the pile and then put them back. Obviously when I do that, I get tired in the middle of it, and then there's just a huge pile that is just kind of sitting there until I regain my energy. So anyway, that's the situation we're trying to avoid. I say that because the first tip I can think of is know your limits. If you know that you're going to get tired if you take out a huge pile like that and you're gonna give up for the day, then don't do it. And this is me knowing my limits. I'm just telling myself I will just do the kitchen today and the rest of the apartment will come later in the week. This is our first adult apartment. By our, I mean like me and my boyfriend. And there's a lot of lessons we've been learning that I guess only come with time spent living as an adult. Last year around this time, I noticed that we had these like flour mites, these tiny little bugs that appear in your bags of flour or baking soda. And I was trying to bake something and I freaked out. And so that's why they're literally right here. That's why we own all of these freaking containers, because I learned my lesson that day. Things should really be stored in airtight containers. We have not had those little pests since. I think while I do this, I'll talk about the second tip that just came to mind. So let's see, the first tip for reducing overwhelm was knowing your limits. And I think the second tip kind of ties nicely into that, which is work in sections. Working in sections, I don't know, it's just like, in my mind, it's categorized so nicely when I see things as just sections of tasks to tackle all at once, rather than just like scrambling around the kitchen and like grabbing the first things I find. I have done that and I do still do that, and it's very chaotic, but working in sections feels very orderly to me, which I love. I like to do this as an extra layer of protection because, as I said earlier, I really don't want those little mites to come back into my ingredients. So these are all actually takeout containers. When they're like hard plastic like this, I like to save it and use it for purposes like this. Okay, I'm going to write, what is this? Sugar and MSG. I love labeling things because I just like to read what's on it before, like instead of, you know, taking everything down and like making a mess. It's gonna stack so beautifully in that cabinet. See if I can like lay it flat enough to put it in. These are, once again, all the overflow ingredients. Section 1 is done. That absolute mess on the kitchen table was section 1. Section 2 will be the cabinets. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to take everything out, put it on the kitchen table, everything from this cabinet, from these cabinets, just any ingredients that we are keeping here. After I take everything out and put it on the kitchen table, I guess I'll go into cleaning this. I would say that in this apartment we are quite an ingredients house lately. I would say when we first moved out we ate a lot of frozen meals and did not feel very good physically. And now that we actually cook and prepare everything ourselves, we feel a lot better. Surprise, surprise. A thing that I am taking into account when putting them in their proper homes will be whether they have like an expiration or best by date approaching. And if they do, I obviously want to keep them visible so that we use them soon. It is pretty relaxing to do these kinds of things sometimes. It just feels like, you know, you're taking care of your space, you're taking care of yourself. And it doesn't have to be this like huge painful task. Since just becoming an adult person, I do not like clutter, and now that I like have my own space, I can kind of dictate how much clutter I have, which is very freeing, but it's also a lot of responsibility. So these are all the ingredients for us to put back in the cupboard. Over here is mostly the baking stuff, and then over here is all the cooking stuff. I am going to tackle these shelves. They're pretty disgusting. I remembered I had this white contact paper from before I even moved in here, so I think I will just use that as the shelf liner. I guess I'll see what the actual state of the wood is when I take these off. I'm like pretty scared for that. First, I'm gonna put some gloves on. I'm going to take the old liners off and just toss them because they're like pretty disgusting. I have these microfiber cloths here, and I have this bowl of warm soapy water. Here we go. I'll take out the first one. The first one is the most disgusting, so yeah, here we go. I just don't want to find anything under it, you know? Let's go. All good. Nothing horrible is in here, so I don't know why it's so scary. All right, all good, all good. I'll get started wiping them down with the soapy water. We're finally doing it. We're finally cleaning this properly. And this is actually kind of satisfying. You know, we didn't even like really decorate this place because we thought maybe like we just weren't sure how long we were going to stay, honestly. Now it's just like we should enjoy this place while we have it, so just doing what we can to make it a place that we can enjoy living in and that can actually feel like a home to us, even if we're not here for that long, if we do decide to move. It doesn't feel dry enough to stick a new liner, so we're gonna move on while this dries a bit. Next, we are going to be tackling this snack area. I'm gonna use this cute little basket I showed you earlier. I'm going to lay some of the snacks on here so it's not all like scattered on the floor. Jerky, crackers, and then we have all of this baking chocolate. This is all over here. I just think the thing that is like closest to us when we pull out the cart should be things that we use the most. We've got these bars for baking chocolate, so I'll put them in this jar. Okay, there's a few other chocolates in this cabinet. Okay, so I found these in the cabinet. There's some more Kinder chocolates. The chocolates are older and they're like maybe past their best by date. It just feels kind of safer to chop them up and bake them into cookies than to just eat them straight up. These two jars are literally just like chocolate for baking. The whole intention with reorganizing things in this way is just to reduce waste and just make sure that we make the best use out of the things that we have. Yeah, that's kind of it. It's not really just to make things aesthetically pleasing. It's mostly just to make it more functional. Wow, there's like no space to put anything. Okay, what do we got next? I don't know. Okay, getting a little bit overwhelmed. So let's see. First, I will start with this basket. Okay, I'll just put the bigger snacks in here. I think this jar will just be like for random snacks that we've got to consume before they pass their best by date. Wow, what a relief. So here's how it looks now. And then there's this empty spot right here. I will put my little matcha bowl right there, I believe. Okay, the cabinets are completely dry, so I'm going to start categorizing everything into the different levels of the cabinet. Obviously, the lowest level will be the most used ingredients, and then the least used ones will go on the top level. All right, these are all the categories. Everything over here is going on level 1. These are the things that we are most likely to use very often. Over here is level 2, things that we use pretty often, but not like every day. Level 3 would be everything else where it's like either a refill ingredient or a seasonal ingredient that is still, you know, good to eat. There was only one thing in that cupboard that did not make the cut, and that is this cookie butter. So I will, I guess, dump the rest of this, and then I will wash the jar to use it for something else. I'll put it in my little jar stash. Okay, let's go put everything back. I'm gonna start by checking that my tallest ingredient will even fit in this level. All right, so I need to move this. Okay. Okay, I eyeballed it and it worked. Let's see how much I need. Fresh little liner. I'm trying to leave like sort of a path in the middle so that we can like see the ingredients. We can just easily reach for the ones in the back. Looks like this orange blossom water will be the tallest. if I'm like up here on the step stool, I can easily reach all the way back and I can see exactly what is back there. Yeah, this is really nice. I'm excited. Wow, that's everything. And I'm not scared to like reach in there now because I cleaned it. Oh my god. Anyway, I feel free. We are back on the floor for this next section, which is produce basket. I don't know if you can tell, but I have run out of steam, but I'm determined to get this all done today. It's been so fun. I'm not even lying. And you know what? This reminds me of the third tip to reduce overwhelm. Oh my god, don't think I forgot. Honestly, as I was doing the rest, I was trying to think of like what another thing that I do is, and it's this. I alternate between a task that's a lot more fun to me and then a task that is a bit more daunting and something that I would rather avoid. I do those back and forth, and I don't know, it's just like it feels a lot more balanced that way. I mean, I've run out of steam now that like so much time has passed. Like we've been at this for a few hours now, but it just kind of keeps things interesting. What can I say? I would say that cabinet section was something I found very daunting. I mean, clearly if I haven't done it in the past 2 years, but we did it. And now we get to move on to this beautiful thing, which I'm really excited for. I am about to put everything on the floor, I think, in a pile so that it's easier to categorize. There's just a lot of like the outside of onions, like there's just a ton of little scraps in this, so I'll just dump that real quick. That's right here. Actually, so much garlic. And a huge bag of shallots. See, I'll put the oranges, some lemons. I just like to keep everything out of the bags because it's just so much more enjoyable to just like grab something. And the goal is to just make the whole experience so enjoyable, right? Put all the shallots down here next to the garlic. Up here. This is what we're working with now. We have cleared all these bags. Okay, that is all I have in me for today. That was a lot, but thank you for joining me. The beautiful, organized kitchen that I now have. It's honestly, I can't even tell you how much of a relief it is to be done with that whole task. I mean, I'll do the rest off camera. There's like some boring stuff that I'm going to be tackling. I find these kinds of videos satisfying, so I'm really happy to actually make one. Anyway, yeah, thank you for following along. And if you are still here, thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe and join us here. Hope you have the most lovely day.